would you ever entertain a fight with the Mexican monster, David Benavidez? But you want Canelo. But you want Canelo.
You gotta understand, like.
But I gotta ask you, bro, because I can't, you know.
My thing is, Benavidez is a big dude.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Not to say I won't fight him. I fought his brother. You know what I mean? His brother was big when I fought him. But, you know what I mean? Benavidez is a big dude. The only reason why I entertain Canelo is because he's not a big dude. Like, he might be thick, you know what I mean? But he's not a big dude. You know what I mean? Like, Benavidez is like 6 foot something. You know what I mean? Then he gonna come in 190, 200 probably. You know what I mean? Like, you never know. Like, that's a big dude. Like, you know what I mean?
And he's skilled, man.
You know what I mean? So it's like, you know, I might as well go to heavyweight if I fight Benavidez.
Yeah. So what you're saying is, like, because I felt that at one point when Volkanovski was champion, I had retired. You know, I had retired, and I was like, dude, the only fight that I would really want to come back for is to fight a dude. I'm 5'4". This dude's fucking 5'6", and he's pound for pound. Yeah. So that's, I understand what you're looking at. You're like, you know what?
You just size him up. Yeah. You just size him up, especially when you going into a bigger weight class like that. You know what I mean? You size him up and you see, you know, your advantages and his advantages. A lot of people might say, oh, well, we want to see Benavidez, Canelo, but to be real,
you don't want to see that.
Yeah, as a boxing fan, it will be a fight to see. You know, don't get me wrong. You know, but to be real, Terence Crawford, Canelo is the biggest fight in boxing right now today. There's no other fight out there that's bigger than Canelo.
So you think
Crawford.
Your fight would do bigger numbers than Benavidez Canelo?
100%. 100%. Let me tell you. African American, Mexican, they always made for the biggest fights in history. Going way back to Pernell Whitaker, Chavez.
Yeah.
You know, so it's gonna be, you know what I mean, electrifying. You know, I can easily go fight Virgil Ortiz or Fundor or whoever to, you know what I mean, make a quick buck or make a quick little penny, but I'm looking at the bigger picture. You know, this is a legacy fight. This is a generational fight, you know, that will be talked about for years.
Yeah.
You know, when I'm gone, they'll talk about, man, you remember Crawford coming up to 168 and fighting Canelo, you know, 2 top 5 pound for pound fighters in the world in their prime, fighting each other. Like, man, that's...
Yeah, but I also feel, Terence, that Canelo's just in a different place, man. I think he's, you know, when we had the little interview with them, you know, we talked about Benavidez. Like, yeah, I just don't want to. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's almost like he's picking his fights.
I think Benavidez disrespect him to a point where he just don't like him.
Yeah, but
and business wise, he like, I'm not giving you that check. Right. I'm not giving that ticket. That's why he say, you want payday, you want payday. You know, that's why he like to.
Yeah, but what do you do if you're Benavidez, bro? Like he's Terence. He's the mandatory, bro. He's earned the right. A lot of people think if you go up from 47 to 54 to 68, they'd be like, nah, you know what I mean? Like, people are gonna be like, dude, this dude sounds cherry picking. And I'm not saying you don't deserve it, Terence, because you're that fucking good.
The bells don't matter.
I promise you.
When you in his situation,
right?
The belts don't matter. That was like Floyd Mayweather. Who gonna tell Floyd Mayweather a belt matter? They make belts for you at that point.
Right.
You know, the belts don't matter. Once you get to a certain peak in your career, you outgrow the belts because you got to pay for the belts anyway. Absolutely. Like, I'm going to give you these belts. They going to come and watch me regardless. You know, so now it comes to a point where we negotiate the percentage of the belts. Because we got to pay for the belts. How can I be champion of the world and I gotta pay you to be champion. So a lot when you get to them points, you can have them belts.
Right.
That's why he don't care.
In line with that, speaking with Canelo felt the same. He feels the same way about Benavidez. He feels Benavidez is fighting in the wrong weight class, and just so happens. Your fight, was that on the same card or was that a couple of weeks apart? A couple of weeks apart, to where he felt the same. Benavidez, when he went up to fight at his right weight class, it didn't take him 2-3 rounds to get the dude out of there. It took him some time.
He didn't get him out there.
Exactly. And he felt the same way. He felt like, well, you see, that guy's fighting in his right weight class. Same thing he said about you. He said, you see, that's not his right weight class. And so me and Henry, I feel me and Henry kind of.
He wants payday.
I'm just laughing because how can somebody tell you, you know what I mean, you're fighting in the wrong weight class when he's been fighting in
exactly different weight classes, being able to bump up and bump down. But this is where I think me and Henry, because Henry want to see that fight. Henry is if you ask Henry today what fight, if you put everything you had on it, what fight you want to see, Henry's going to say Benavidez Canelo. I agree with your statement. I think you versus Canelo probably does more numbers than Benavidez versus Canelo. I think they're probably both the two biggest fights that could potentially happen. But when you talk about Benavidez and Canelo, it's all Mexican. Everybody knows Mexicans love boxing. It's an all Mexican fight to where it's, yes, everybody's gonna watch it, but you bring a different demographic, which boxing is deeply rooted in the African American culture. Based on all the champions we've had, boxing is deeply rooted. So you bring a different demographic. Canelo's gonna bring the Mexican demographic regardless. So I do think that fight does a little bit more numbers than Benavidez versus Canelo. But those are probably the two fights that I potentially want to see. But you're right, Canelo's in a position now to where he gets to pick and choose. Floyd did it. Chavez did it. De La Hoya did it.
All the greats did it.
All the greats did it. And I think ties back into the 4 belts. When you're paying to fight for the belt, it's like, yeah, I get to a certain point. I wish
Turkey would literally just come in and just buy out all the governing bodies and turn it into one. I don't know if he's ever thought about that or would want to do that.
Probably.
But I think with all that money that he has, man, like I think he could do it.